She's 50 in that photo. Or I think even older than 50.
I mean, she does not look 50, I'll give you that.
You just have to, trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
Okay, that sounds very shady, but okay.
Since we were talking about red pill and everything last time, there were some ideas that we were gonna talk about this time, as you said. But I just wanted to tell you because you said that my friend supposedly was very short, but this dude is taller than me, and I'm fairly tall for being Swedish, or I was until Gen Z came around, right? Because I don't know what they put in Sweden. Gen Zs are fucking monsters. They're like 2 meters tall, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's happening here too. I keep seeing people who are like 190, 195, and they're all young for some reason. And it used to be like very uncommon for people to be that height here.
Yeah, no. It's fucking strange, man. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, did they drink the entish water? The ants fucking piss in their water or something? They just pissed in they literally fucked the earth, and that's what happened. It's Greta Thunberg was right, man. This is what happens if we don't throw out the trash. The ants fucks us over.
I see.
Yeah, but anyway, right? It's strange because all these red pillars, they talk about this and that, women don't like this and that, but like my friend, right, he's like one of those people that they would like look at him and think like, oh, this guy doesn't get any game. And I know for a fact he has gotten laid more than any of those clowns on any of those shows. Like, he just has. Because, I mean, he's my friend, so I know. I guess the only point I wanted to make with that is that red pill very cringe, Christianity based. But you already knew that.
Is your friend Christian?
No.
So that's a bad point to make.
I mean, no, it's not a bad point, it's just fucking irrelevant. But I mean, if you see irrelevant as being bad, then sure, I guess.
I mean, I kinda do, yes. But, I mean, the only reason you're bringing up... Okay, so first I have to say this. The reason that people are tall has nothing to do with fucking ants, Gagger. The reason people are tall is that they're putting chemicals in the water which are making the frogs gay. And that's why they're growing up tall, okay?
Yes.
Okay, but jokes aside, I'm sure that it has to do something like with hormones in food, right? Like they use hormones to grow animals faster, and some of those are lingering in the food that people eat. And so people who are in their growth phase pick up those hormones and grow taller, and they grow faster than they should grow as well. Which is why, women are maturing faster. It's why boys and girls are growing taller. And this is a conspiracy, but
faster, right?
Sorry, what?
You did say that's why women mature faster. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Go on.
And I mean, this is a conspiracy theory, but I feel like it's a better explanation than the ants are getting their revenge on us.
I mean, what would you rather have?
Ants or capitalism?
When you put it in those words, but ants, they're in support of capitalism, though.
They are?
Yeah, they tore down Isengard because they understood it was communism.
I mean, okay, but I don't think that they're in support of capitalism. I could be wrong, though. You have to give me more than that if you want to say that ants are pro-capitalism. Actually, I'm pretty sure that no one would agree with you. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna double down, triple down, quadruple down on this point. But to engage with what you were actually saying, is that the answer is usually to these questions, if you're gonna be super boring and not the fun conspiracists, is that it has something to do with the quality of life, or something like this, I guess. The quality of life has generally risen, and that's why people get taller.
I mean, does explain it partially, but people have been eating like more than a capacity for decades now, and I don't think that this growth uh, corresponds to that because it keeps happening, right?
I mean, I
Like
don't know.
it's not
It's
like
what it is.
Gen X or millennials were underfed comparatively.
How do I explain it? Like I'm thinking now when you said that, I'm thinking like my dad wasn't underfed. Like they had actually fairly, I mean they were underclass family, but they weren't like poor, if you know what I mean.
Yes, they weren't
So
starving.
yeah. So actually, no, fuck it. When else am I gonna tell the story? My grandfather, right? He knew a guy because they grew up like in the. At that time, it wasn't the slums. But you have the hood. That's the only way I can explain it. Like the hood.
The
That's where my dad
Swedish,
grew up.
the Swedish hood.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Swedish. Yes, they even have a name for it. The Tongen. That's what they call it. But
why
my dad grew
does
up
it sounds
there.
Chinese?
No, no, it means the concrete, based upon
Okay,
the concrete of the buildings they would build to house
ah,
the poor people.
I see.
So that's and my grandfather he knew like these what is it called, like these kind of weird shady people down by the docks that he would like trade meat for. Like he would like I don't know, he would like go there and do something with their electricity and like help them do the electricity illegally because he was like he
Oh, I
wasn't
see.
really, and then they would give him meat for it,
I see.
like completely under the table. That's why. So, my so it was strange. So my dad like grew up in like an under what it's called, under middle class. That's what it's called. Yes, family, but they were like better fed. They were as good fed as people in the upper middle class because of my grandfather's connections.
What
And
your
yeah,
father
the
did
time.
is called
What's that?
we call it gato, I believe, here in Brazil,
Okay.
which is when you like each house has its own billing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for the energy that they use. But if you know how to split the cable, you can make it so you take the cable from one house and then you put it in another, and then the person receives the bills, like one person receives the bills for both houses. So it's like a parasite system essentially. That one
Yeah,
person,
that's not what my grandfather did, but continue.
yeah. So what you do is that you don't pay for your own energy or your internet or your cable or whatever. Someone else does, and I guess your grandfather did that for other people and got meat in return.
Yeah, sort of. I think, or they took it from the state, right? So I mean, it's based either way. However you look from it, stealing from the state is always based. That is how it works.
I
Even though
see.
I'm a supporter on social democracy, I am a social democrat. I still think that like stealing from the state is ultimate fucking based. So I mean,
You're a social democrat, so
but
the state is very weak, so you can steal from them more, right?
yeah, sort of. Or I don't know. I really, as you know, I really, really hate bureaucrats.
Yeah.
So, like, I see the necessity of bureaucrats, but I also fucking hate them. So it's like this weird, you know, I would be the worst fucking politician ever. Because
Oh
like I
yeah.
would like I would beat up my underlings in the like behind closed door. I'd be like, I fucking hate you. We won this election, but I fucking hate you. Fucking yeah, and then
How dare you be a
they would
fucking
call
bureaucrat, even though I told you to be
yeah
one.
yeah. Then they would like get HR involved and stuff. And you know how it goes and stuff.
You have
But like
a domestic abuse relationship with your employees, I think.
exactly right. No, no, but to go back to the whole thing, right? To tie this all back to the red pill. No, it's kidding. I actually can't. I can't. I can't tie this all back to the red pill. I
You
was
don't
just
need to.
talking.
I can't just go and ask a few questions because we left off and there were still like many things that we could have talked about. And
Mm,
there are also, because I'm not sure about you and when you actually came across that as a subject, but like I met the red pill before there were like incels, there were like Lukeism, there were even like Chad and and virgin stuff, it was like very in its nascent form. It wasn't very popular. Um, and so there's a lot of stuff that I feel like many people don't know about it, and they think they understand it because they know that Andrew Tate exists, and they feel like, oh yeah, the red pill is uh, those misogynist stuff, and there's a lot more to it. And so I was wondering if you could uh, answer a quiz of mine here and explain to
Mm.
me what are some terms. I picked a few terms. I went to the Reddit Red Pill,
Mm.
and I picked some terms from their glossary, and I want to see if you can tell me what each means.
Okay,
So
just quickly, what subreddit did you go to? I'm not gonna cheat or anything. I'm just
yep,
curious.
it's reddit.com/r/the red pill. This is
Oh,
where
that place. Okay.
yeah, it's where I first found out about the red pill. Um,
Mm.
so first one, they're not exactly in order of difficulty, but um, they're roughly in order of difficulty. So the first one is white knight. What is a white knight, Gagger?
A white knight can be explained as follows. A white knight is someone that stands up to women, but not out of some sort of higher moral calling, but for the calling of their pussy, because they think they're gonna get laid.
Okay, so here's how they define it, and then let's see if you got it right. White knight, a man who comes to the rescue of a woman or of women reflexively, emotionally driven, without thought or even looking at the situation. 2. A man in authority who enables steam women in his legislative actions, judgments, or rulings. Reflexive, re, reflexively, emotionally driven, without thought or even looking at what's right, also known as a mangina. Um, so yeah, I actually prefer your answer to theirs. I feel like theirs is way too specific. Um,
Yeah, because I was like, what? Isn't that a simp? That was the first thing that popped into my mind. They're explaining a simp, it feels like. Because
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
a white
they're
knight to me is drawn by the pussy.
yeah
But maybe,
they
yeah, okay.
they left it out like they left out the I feel like the qualification is necessary. Like if you're not doing it for the pussy, you're not a white knight. You're I mean you're something else, I guess. I mean maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe a weird confusing of simp with a white knight. Let's see. It doesn't look like they have simp as a yeah they don't. So I should also say this is like from 8 years ago. So
Hmm.
uh, these are like
Well, I
the
also found them. I found them also 8 years ago. That's how I know about them. I think I told you I got a Reddit account specifically to debate these people because they were annoying me.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like you. Yes. Um,
Yes.
okay, so tell me about the wall.
The wall, as
Yeah.
explained by Red Pills, is when a woman's sexual market value either stops completely or drastically decline, and she can't use her quote unquote looks or just the virtue of her being, yeah, no, her looks, sorry, no, her looks to get what she wants from men. Also, this is a caveat that I don't know how they tie in their explanation. She also can't find as many sexual partners or boyfriends, husbands, you name it. That's the wall to them. It's that point where a woman, yeah, their sexual market get value essentially is just gone or very, very low.
That's very close, but there's two things that are missing from your explanation. One is that according to the red pillars, the women, when they hit the wall, their self-assessment is still high, whilst their actual
Right.
value is
Oh,
lower.
yeah, yeah.
So for a long time, they keep acting as if they were more desirable than they are, and they take time to understand why it is that they are not as attractive to men as they used to be. And the second thing is, oh right, this is usually the point at which they begin to look for a husband, because they realize that they are not going to be young forever, I guess.
Okay, so actually now you have the opportunity to do a better job than the red pillar I debated with. did a long time ago. Because I brought a counter up to the wall, and I still think my counter is, my counter might not be the best counter. I admit that. This was like 8 years ago. This was before I even studied at university, right? So my counter might not be the best. I admit that. But anyway, my counter was this: that okay, let's say you're right. Let's say there is a point where a woman's sexual market value decreases, and sure, in a way, I agree with them, but that's not the point I'm making here. There are still women then that exist that are very attractive well into their 30s. So what's stopping this woman? And I used an example of a Romanian, a Romanian supermodel. I'm so sorry, a Romanian supermodel that I'm still convinced she's still very hot today, and she will be 38 today. Anyway, I gave them this example that this woman right here, let's say she fucks around for 8 years until she's 27. No, sorry, she fucks around until she's 27. Then she just says, "Oh, I found God." Then she finds a Christian man. She can still become a mother, and things like that. So, by the virtue of my argument, your point doesn't stand.
Okay, but what
that
point
was my.
So what point doesn't stand?
No, that they can't find a husband, or can't find a partner, or that there is a wall. My point was, one, that that the wall doesn't really exist, because you can always find someone to fuck well until you're very, very old. And two, even if it does exist, it's completely irrelevant.
Okay, so
that was my point. That was my argument back then.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't disagree necessarily. I feel like the law isn't so much about not getting someone who is willing to either marry or have sex with you, because I feel like that's not what's at stake. What's at stake is whether women can find men that they believe are attractive to the standard that they were used to when they were in their 20s or early 20s. So I feel like the decline is more important, and the wall is more like is a metaphor, because there is like a gradual increase in their attractiveness until suddenly that gradual decrease becomes a rapid decline. And I don't feel that. I feel like you say, well, they can't find a husband. I don't think that anyone says that. I think that what people say is they are forced to find a husband. It's more like they wish they didn't have to, but they have to. And the wall forces them to do so, because they can't get laid as often with as many quote-unquote high-value men as they were able to before. But I agree with your point, mostly. I'm not disagreeing. And I do agree that there are women who are almost in their 40s and are very attractive. And, well, I'd say I'm not sure about Romanian women. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't mean that Romanian women are ugly. I just don't know Romanian women in my head. And I feel like I had this discussion with another friend, and he did his argument, or like his point is that white women age poorly, essentially. Whilst non-white women, like black women, Asian women in their 40s, are still very attractive. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case, but I do follow that argument in the sense that I've seen many white women who are very attractive in their 20s become pretty. I mean, they look like they're in their 50s when they're 30, So
I think
that.
I'm gonna be honest here, and I hate myself. Just know that I hate myself for the argument I'm about to make. Okay, I hate myself for it.
Okay.
I think there is some truth to what you're saying, yet there are two problems here. That in Western world, where most white people live, there's not this expectation that a woman should present, super nicely, like beyond a certain point. But this is me steel manning the counter to my argument, because I don't really agree with it. That's the argument I would go down if I had to concede that point. Mm-hmm. But then I would disprove their point immediately by showing them a picture of Miranda Otto. You obviously watched Lord of the Rings movies.
Yes.
You know the girl that plays. Do you know the girl that plays Eowyn?
Wait, I watched what?
No, the girl that plays Eowyn, or however you say it in English, I forget. The
You asked me if
blonde
I
girl.
watched the
That,
Lord of the Rings. Are you talking about the movies?
yes, I'm talking about the movies, but I'm
Okay,
talking about the
yes.
character in the movie
Yes,
called
okay.
the blonde shield maiden.
I just googled her. I'm gonna see if I can show it on stream. So here she is in the movie. If I can fucking open it, god damn it. Fucking hate Google
Anyway,
Images, dude.
anyway,
Right.
the photo on IMDb. I don't know if they changed it, but there was a photo on IMDb of her when she was in her 50s, and she looked like she was 30. And because she's an actual elf, which is ironic because she plays a human in the movies. So that would be my counter to that argument.
Okay, so I am currently getting her from the movie, and then
Yeah,
I need a okay IMDb. Let's see if there is a more recent photo of her. I can't find it. Where did you see her picture? You remember?
give me 1 second. Let me just do this. Ding, 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 ding. IMDb. Then after I do this, let's move off this point because I'm starting to realize that it's not. Give me a second. Miranda Otto. There she is.
I don't know that I don't. Are you sure that you haven't seen like a picture of her from year 2000? Thought it was recent.
Give me a second. Is it that? Okay, I'm gonna send it in chat. She's 50 in that photo. Or I think even older than 50.
I mean, she does not look 50. I'll give you that.
Yeah, sure, she doesn't look 25, sure, but she, if she had said, yes, I'm 30 years old, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I would have believed her.
I mean, me too. I'm sorry for asking this, but do you have any proof that she's 30 or 50 in that picture?
You just have to, trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
That sounds very shady, but okay. I can't.
No, but to be fair,
I can't
I've
argue
seen.
against trust me, bro.
Here's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Like that just wins all arguments.
Yeah.
But anyway, then you have this other film called Annabelle that she was in. And I mean, anyone who's looked at that movie, then in that movie, yes, she's 50 years old in that movie, and she plays a 25-year-old character in that movie.
Okay, so
sorry.
Can see the Elwin on the left and what's Miranda Otto in the right?
Yes.
And you can see how apparently on the left she's like in her 30s, and on the right she's in her 50s. And I'd say that in the right she doesn't look to be in her 50s, which is very impressive, I'd say.
Dude, her husband, he's just dancing forever and ever and ever. Because he actually gets to date an actual elf. Isn't that fantastic for him? Like, he must be so happy. Like, man, I can just picture him now, like, dancing like an elf himself because he's married to one. That's their custom. Don't hate on him.
Okay, I'm gonna get us back because there's two more
please.
questions. So,
yes.
I need you to tell me what is a shit test.
Oh, fuck, I've heard this one before. Okay, I don't remember, but I would imagine that it's something to do when you're either on a date with a woman or you're, I don't know, dating a woman and she tries to set a boundary. No, not set a boundary, but... Okay, here's the thing. To a sane person, it would be a boundary. To a red pillar, it would be them trying to talk back and you should never allow it. That would be a shit test.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it the description that is in the glossary here, and then I'm gonna give what I think is. because I don't think this
Hmm.
glossary definition is good. So in the glossary, it just says a shit test is a statement or question meant to gauge your level of alpha traits. So obviously,
Oh, wait. Oh,
a
yes.
this a
Yes. Oh my God.
this is a very stupid way to put it. I feel like a shit test is more like it's like when they're trying to they're essentially making fun of you, right? And
Hmm.
then the reason they're making fun of you is not because they're actually trying to put you down, but because they want to see how you react being made fun of, essentially. Uh, and so one of the ways you might deflect the shit test is by basically ignoring it. Another is to make fun of the person in return. Another is to reframe the question so it looks as if the person is actually complimenting you rather than insulting you. Those are a few of the ways that I've noticed shit tests happen, and a few ways that people have been able to quote unquote pass the test. Uh, but I'm not sure why it is so succinct here, because it does require more explanation than gauge your level of alpha traits, because that's just dumb.
Oh man. It's like, here's the thing though. Like, I don't know. Now, as I have gotten older, since I now hear all these things again, it's like, I mean, don't you want a woman that can shit talk back? Isn't that like what you want? Or, I mean, but
I
I don't know. Maybe I
this
just have a
isn't
different taste in women.
this isn't a criticism of women. This is just what do you how do you put it? It's like
I'm
you
not
notice
saying
that
you,
this
you. I'm obviously
happens.
talking about other people. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, you notice that there's a pattern to how women act when they're next to men, and this is one of the things that they do, and it's a shit test because uh, they're giving you shit, right? That's what's happening, and you can either pass or fail. So it's a test, but it's not meant to say, well, women are doing something wrong when they're saying or doing these things. It's more like here's something that women do. Be prepared and do better than you would if you didn't know that this was coming, right? Um, I, I don't see it as an insult to women, at least.
I mean, I kind of. Can you re-explain what you meant? Because I feel like I'm misunderstanding something. It's. Are you saying that the shit test is real? I guess I would ask you. I don't know because I didn't really understand what you're saying. So if you don't, I don't mean it as an insult. I truly didn't quite understand what you said.
I feel like shit tests are things that people do. Yes. I'm not sure
Well,
if
I mean,
men do it as much as women. I'm not sure
they.
what's the proportionality,
Okay,
but I've seen women do it, and I know how it works at least.
okay. This is what I will say though as a counter, but I think we agree on this point. But I think it's worth saying because I never hear anyone say this. I hear some people say it. Don't get me wrong, but the point there being is that I mean, if you call it something else, most people would be fine with it. For example, let's say I have a female friend, right? And she says, "Oh, I met this guy. I don't know if he's like a fucking crazy fucking psycho or something like this, right?" I
Mm-hmm.
mean, one of the things I would say, like an advice I think I would give her so she can test what kind of person he is that let's say they're making a plan and he says, "Oh, I want to go to, I don't know, let's do a silly one. I want to go to Starbucks." He says that. "I want to go to Starbucks." And she says, "Oh, yeah, let's go to Starbucks." But then a thing she can test is then what happens if she says, like, maybe just some hours before the date, she might ask, "Hey, can we actually go to this other cafe? Like, just right around the corner, same price, everything. It's just a different cafe."
Mm-hmm.
And if he then starts sulking, like, I'm not going to use the word man-child because I think that insult has lost all its meaning nowadays. They call fucking Jordan Peterson a man-child now. So I'm just not going to use that thing. But let's say he acts immature. He starts like huffing and puffing, like, "I'm going to go to Starbucks. Yeah." And like acts really, he can't handle it. Then, I mean, that test will be good And vis-a-vis, like you can do this to a woman too, to see how she reacts. And she got like, oh, then it's like, okay, you clearly can't. One, you can't fucking communicate without being, very mature. Two, you can't do a fucking compromise.
I feel like
And then it's like,
this test that you're describing is a little too soft for what people usually refer to as shit tests, because it's
what's the
usually,
game in that?
I mean, it's the same, but way more annoying. Let's put it that way. So instead of changing it 2 hours before, change 15 minutes.
And shoot the guy in the head, right? They just go up at him and shoot him in the face. Anyway, continue.
And instead of being in the corner, it's going to be at the other side of the city. And maybe they said that they would pay half, and they make you pay everything. That kind of thing,
Yeah, that's never cool. You should drop that person immediately. That's like a valid fucking reason.
Yes.
If it's like a valid fucking reason, then fine. Like, oh shit, I had to. Oh no, my card isn't actually fucking working. Fine, whatever, right?
Yes.
Or like, something like this, then it's fine. But I agree, like that's what they mean. I would say though, no, continue.
I mean,
I realize we're on the same wavelength anyway.
Yeah, most of the tests aren't actually like that. They're more verbal than actionable. So instead of having something change of plans or that kind of thing, they would just say something that is slightly insulting to gauge your reaction. That's the more common version of the shit test, which is, well, how do you react when you're insulted? Do you become petulant? Do you become angry? Do you take it in the chin? Do you deflect? Do you make a joke? What do you do? Those are more commonly the shit tests that people talk about.
Yeah, I mean, then it gets strange too, because I see what the point is, sort of, but the problem is that it's the application of what it means later on that just becomes so maybe not dark, but so wrong. Because let's say I'm out with a girl, right, and she starts insulting me, one or two, and it's like the first date, first time meeting her in person, right? It's another time if we talk on Tinder or something, but let's say for some reason I just go on a blind date or something like this, and she starts insulting me, like midway through dinner or something. Either two things is gonna happen, like I will just never talk to her again, or I will shit talk back, and if she can shit talk really well, we will just be friends forever. I won't go beyond that point, because I don't really want to date women like that. That is a preference. I will be friends with them. We can have really fulfilling friendships and chill out and stuff. But I would never date someone like that seriously. I would not. It's just not my style.
All right.
But
can I move on to the last one, or do you want to talk something else about shit testing?
No. I'm done. I just found it interesting. I do find the question interesting. But anyway, continue. You had the final question about the shit, not the shit test, but the other thing.
Yes. So the last one is actually something else. So I'm going to not say it and go to something that I read recently, and I forgot it existed, and I was reminded of it, and so now I want to ask you about it. So do you know what the frame is, Gagger?
The frame.
Yes.
Oh my god, the frame. Here's the thing.
You gotta keep frame,
It
Gagger.
feels like. They're so fucking retarded, Neil. They're so fucking retarded. I hate them so much. They're so fucking retarded.
No, just hope this.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you the definition, and if I'm not right, then okay, then I will take the L. Then I'm the fucking retard. Okay, if I'm not right about the definition of something I just know what they mean, then I'm the retard. I will take the L. Red Pill was right, and I was wrong. Okay. Frame. Yes. Ooh. Okay, now I actually have to dig out all the fucking modernism.
Are you cheating?
So, frame is how you compose yourself as a man, according to them. Frame is that you should always appear dominant. You should always be the alpha, always the leader in the room. And you can never ever lose the frame, because if you lose even a little of the frame, no women will ever have respect for you, or they will lose respect for you, or try to take that to their advantage. So, for example, losing frame would be like crying in front of a woman, or something like this.
I mean, maybe you're right. I don't know actually, because there's a lot of definitions of the frame. So I'm gonna give you the one that the glossary gives. Um, Frame is the context in which something is perceived. Maintaining frame is often cited as the most important aspect of alpha behavior, and then it links to something else. So I think what they mean is that the frame is, how do I put it? You know how some people say that the Bible is not a set of stories that you can interpret, but it's actually like a pair of glasses that you can use to interpret the world.
Yes.
So in that sense, the Bible is a frame of reference, and the frame in the red pill then is making sure that the interpretation of the events that are occurring in the context near you is as you want it to look like. So I don't know, if someone is being pranked, you decide whether it is mean or if it's funny, for example. Or I don't know, maybe someone is having a fight and you decide whether the fight should happen or not, or if it should be stopped. So the frame is more or less like having the crowd in favoring whatever you think is right. And so that's
it's like
frame.
So it's like the ultimate boss of postmodernism, or something.
Something like, and also it's like, for example, if you give the example of crying in front of women, right? That's also one part of it, right? Keeping frame in that sense is like the making sure that the persona is what is being seen rather than your real self. In the case of a person who cries, right? Because they want to present themselves as this, hyper masculine, independent, aloof, I don't know, funny, no cares given individual, right? And then someone says something mean to them, and then they cry, and in that sense, it is breaking the frame. But the reason it's breaking the frame is because they were presenting themselves in a certain sense, and then something that they did broke that frame, broke that perspective, and so you are not wrong about the example you gave, but I feel like the frame is not just about the person that you're presenting yourself as, but also as the situation in your context. It's more encompassing than just yourself.
So it's almost like a furry persona.
A fursona, you might say.
Yes.
I don't think that. I'm pretty sure that crying is in character for the fursonas, though.
For a community that talks so much about fucking women or men fucking women, they are so fucking gay, aren't they?
Wait, the furry community talks about men fucking women?
No, I'm talking about the red pillars.
Oh, I mean, I'd say that they are very Greco-Roman.
Oh yeah, they realized later on that you could have sex with women as well, not just men.
Yes, but that's kind of like having sex with women is kind of
Yeah,
because
true.
They're
True,
too feminine.
yeah.
Like if you're a fighter, you don't go after the weak ones, you go after strong ones. So of course, if you're gonna have sex, you have to have sex with someone who is strong.
True. Oh man, I was right. Mikasa is best girl. She could kill me at any point.
That's true.
Maybe, dude, Mikasa is actually the gateway into the red pill. That's how it starts, man.
Yeah.
You start looking at Mikasa's abs, and then you're like, I wish I could be her. And then you just find Andrew Tate next time. That's why you started posting about anime so much, right?
Actually, are those posts real? I keep seeing them, and I don't know if he is actually posting them or not.
He is, and the worst part, okay, not the worst part, because he posted this god tier meme once that was just great. I said there was someone who told him, "Can you stop doing the anime posting? It's making me uncomfortable," or something like this. And then Andrew Tate just responded with, "What's the matter? Scared of hoes?" And then he posted all those, what is the magic girls, like the Aqua and the Dynamite girl, whatever they're called. I never watched that one, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember the name now, but yes, I know them.
But it was so funny. He just posted that with the caption "scared of hoes," and I'm like, that's a god tier meme. Not even gonna like that's like. That's a good one. That's actually a good one. Everyone, like people who hated him, said yes, that's a good meme. We're gonna give it to him this time. We're gonna make peace and accept that it's a good meme.
So, Jäger, I am afraid that we have, for too long, spoken of the red pill, and we haven't enough talked about why they're evil. So I'm going to pass the floor to you, so you can actually tell us about the dangers of the red pill and what is wrong with them, and what we as a society can do to stop them from succeeding in their evil aims.
Okay, so I mean the simple short answer, which is like super boring, which is also doesn't tell anything. I could say that and say they are just postmodernist, but that doesn't really tell us that much. The problem with the red pill is that they do some good prescriptions, which is fine. The problem is that application of those just lead men into things that leads nowhere. Just to chase material things that doesn't mean anything at the end. In the end, so I mean, evil is subjective in this sense. But would I say it's Luciferian? Yeah, it's Luciferian, and that's why I think it's evil, because they're doing like they're doing the same thing, right? That if you use Luciferian as a metaphor, right? They're trying to steer people away from things that move us forward as a society, like raising kids, getting married, and raising them in a, not this weird polyamory thing, one-sided poly thing they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're evil in that sense. Like, they're Luciferian. We talked about this with the whole example I gave of Noah, but I don't have to bring it up again because it's not practical. But how to stop them? It's so fucking easy. The left just have to stop bashing men all the time. Like, if they just stop doing that and just said, no, we're gonna stop bashing men, and actually treated men as equals, there would be no red pill.
I think that they can't anymore, to be honest. I feel like they would lose part of their electorate if they stopped bashing men, because I feel like many of the women are not exactly aligned with leftism, except for the fact that feminism is essentially like, stuck with the left and won't get out of it. So if the left started to bash men less, they might see, they might lose voters for that, I guess.
I mean, no. I see your point. I don't agree with it, but as I said, I need to go soon. But and this is a perfect conversation for next time, because we can actually dig into this, because it's an interesting concept. I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
But you already know my stance on this. We spoke a lot of this. That one of the big things that I think that conservatives need to stop doing, like they have in my country, is just this whole gay marriage thing. Let it go. It has happened. Just move forward. Move on to other things. Because if you get the LGBT people on your side, that's very invaluable. But who knows? Maybe it's not going to be invaluable in 5 years, and then who the fuck knows? Maybe I'm the wrong one here. That's also why I can't really have more of this conversation than I want to, because I need to look those things up. Because I don't know how, do they actually stare people? Do they not stare people? I don't know. I need to check it out. I need to look it up.
I don't think that the LGBT people are very numerous, but they are very popular, let's put it that way. Like, their issues are popular with a large percent of the population. So, yeah.
Yeah, but to end us off, what do you think about the red pill like and the dangers like one like let me rephrase the question. What that you posed to me? What did you one? Why do you think or not think that the red pill is evil? And two, how do we stop it?
So I won't be able to give a good answer about how they are evil or not, or if they are evil or not. I do think that you're right about their hypocrisy in regards to uh, like promoting this lifestyle, right? Of men fucking as many women as they want, essentially, and not actually trying to fight it, but just going along with it, and then going on a pity story about how it's not possible to fight it. It's like, no, you just don't want to fight it. That's what it is. Um, so yeah, I do. For that, I can't say that they are good, because they are not. But as for evil, I seriously don't know. Because I feel like men themselves are very prone to some, uh, if not violent, very extreme ideas when they're young, because they're full of fucking testosterone, and they are risk takers, and they want to challenge themselves, and they're also at the awkward stage in which they are developing, and but not yet fully developed. So they're like there isn't a good place for them yet because they're not quite adults, but they're not children, and so it's important for there to be places that can take that energy and channel it into something productive. And I feel like the red pill might have been that for many people. Um, as for whether or not it's the best place, I really don't think it is, but I guess it could be worse. For example, I don't think that, you know, MGTOW is a replacement for the red pill. I feel like it's just another form of running away from the problem. And I don't know if there are other alternatives. Supposing, that, it's, for example, a 17-year-old which doesn't have a father figure, a positive male role model, and he needs to find a way to develop himself. It's hard to believe that he will be able to find something on his own if it isn't something like the red pill or something else like that. Maybe he'll find someone at church. Maybe he'll find a hobby that happens to have people who are like that. Maybe he'll find a job which is fulfilling in that manner. But if he doesn't, then the red pill is something that can be there. And as for so that's the answer for whether it is evil or not. My answer is I don't think it is, but I don't think it's good either. I think it's it could be way better, but it's not. Uh, there isn't a good thing to replace it yet. And your secondary question is how to stop it, right? And I mean, I'm not sure if it should be stopped necessarily, but if it is supposed to be stopped, I think it's probably through uh, special education, I guess, specifically geared towards men. But I don't think that that's something a society, like a step a society is willing to take nowadays, because people think that men are privileged, and that essentially disqualifies them from any change that is exclusive for their good. So I don't think that they are going to get the help that they need to be able to get out of it. And so I feel like the only avenues left are going to be like basically mass media attacks like have been happening. Like I haven't watched Barbie yet, and I won't actually. But I've heard that it's more men hating from the mass media, and it's been happening with increasing uh, how do you say, increasing, not reliability, but I'm sure you know what I mean. It's been happening more and more
Yes.
often, and the it's like, I guess this is partly to try to redress the situation of the red pill taking control of young men. But I don't think that it's actually working. I think it's actually fitting into it because men don't want to be hated, obviously. But
No.
what they're doing is essentially trying to demonize men, to make men hateable. And yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't think that that's gonna work, but that's what they're doing. So
No. Yeah, no. I sort of agree with that too. I mean, what you said about that man doesn't want to be hated, it's like this thing. My father used to say this to me all the time as I was growing up. He said, what most people want to be is loved. If they can't be loved, they want to be adored. If they can't be adored, they want to be feared. If they can't be feared, they want to be hated. They want something, right? And no one wants to be the one hated, but maybe because if you think of these cucks, right? The left, you know what cucks I'm talking about here, like the soy boy, whatever you want to call them.
that's me.
They get something at least. What do you say? No, not him. I disavow.
Okay.
This, like, those sort of people, at least they get hated. They get something. And these other red pillars that try to come to the top, they want to be adored. You know,
Yes.
that's at least something better, or feared or adored, which is better than being hated. And what you want me to say? Yes, even I have to, like, in objectivist blah 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 sense. Even I agree that being feared is better than being hated. If I had to pick one, right? But anyway,
The witches were hated.
Yeah.
And
But they
look how
deserved
that
it.
turned out to them.
They were cringe. The Bible says to kill them. I can't agree more. Only the state should be allowed to have access to such powers.
The king is feared and the witches are hated, and the witches are burnt and the king is adored. So yeah, of course it makes sense. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's how I'd put it, but it's definitely the case that it's not like it, I don't think that it is a good thing to be hated by your sex or for your sex. That is.
No. No, of course not. I agree. But I think we both agree on that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was nice talking to you as always. So yes, yeah. As I said, I want to talk to you after. So yes, close. If you had some, unless you had something else, let's close the stream. Yeah.
Okay, so since we have like a few minutes, just the last one, the last one, which I skipped, because I know
Yeah.
you'll know the answer to this, but I want to hear you say it. So Gagger, last one. What is an orbiter?
I actually know what that is. Yes. They talk in this context. It is a red pillar. Like specifically, an orbiter would be someone who feeds off someone else who is bigger. But in this context, the beta orbiter, it's just someone who hangs around the girl and is hoping for a chance in, and they will do anything to get in. And if you get in with that girl, the orbiters around will get really angry at you and try to clear you out at the first opportunity. So orbiters, in a shortish term, they're just men who are trying to get lucky with a girl, but they can't. Because it starts on the line, actually, so.
Yep.
Or it's just not interested.
No, yep, absolutely right. Yep, she'll keep him around because he'll do anything for her and provide validation, giving small hints that he might eventually win her love, but he never will. Yep.
Oh, I remember being 12.
So, okay, I'm gonna close the stream now then, Gagger, so we can talk, okay?
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. The two people who are. No, just kidding. It's probably more. But yeah, take care.